The 6 most prevalent on-the-road bicycle repairs. Now, I ride 100 miles a week, and I've been doing that long enough to know that at some point, the road is going to fight back. And it never picks a convenient time. It's never going to be in your driveway, next to your workbench, with your full toolkit within arm's reach. No, it's mile 28. The temperature just broke 90 degrees, and you're 4 miles from the nearest gas station. That's when it happens. And here's the thing. Cyclists don't have a AAA card. There's no tow truck that's going to come and rescue you. It's just you, your bike, and whatever you had the good sense to pack into your toolkit. Now, whenever I stop and make a repair, the first thing I do is look for a good place to work, if possible. I find some shade. Maybe it's under a tree, next to a building, or under the awning, somewhere where I can get out of the hot sun. And if it's raining, the same rule applies. Find a little protection from the weather before you start working on your bike. Next, I look for something to sit on. Now, it might be a bench, a big rock, or even a tree stump. But believe me, sitting down makes the repairs a whole lot easier than bending over your bike for 15 to 30 minutes, especially when you get to be my age. The repair may only take 10 minutes, but getting your back to straighten up again could take another 20. The point is, don't just stop and immediately start tearing your bike apart. Take a minute, find a comfortable place to work, and get out of the sun and rain. Now, so today I want to walk you through the 6 most common on-the-road repairs every cyclist will eventually face, no matter if you're riding a mountain bike or a road bike. Now, because if you can't handle this yourself, you need to be riding with a buddy who can, or even once you know the basics, it might save you both. Before you get into the repairs themselves, let's talk a little bit about your repair kit. Because here's the deal. If you're 20 miles from home, standing on the side of the road with a flat tire, it doesn't matter how much you know about fixing a flat if you don't have the right tools to do it. So at a minimum, here's what I carry. First, obviously, a spare inner tube, at least one, and if I'm going on longer rides, I might carry 2. Next, tire levers. Now, these are a must. You're going to need those to get the tire off of the rim without turning a simple flat tire into a wrestling match. Trust me on that. Now, you also need some way to put air back into the tire. Now, let me just say a word about CO2 inflators. I know a lot of riders that really love them. Me? I haven't had much luck with them. I usually seem to either be underinflating the tire or overinflating the tire. And I hear that sound. There goes my inner tube. And those little compact hand pumps work. But you may get your upper workout for the whole week before you get 80 pounds of pressure in the tire. So I carry a small electric pump. I'll show you in the description what I'm talking about. It's compact, it's easy to use, and I can pump the tire up to the pressure I want without any guesswork at all. Next, I carry a chain tool. Now personally, I've never needed one of these because I put a new chain on my bike at the beginning of every season. However, these don't cost a lot and they're fairly small. And I'm not just talking about a new master link. If you damage a link on your chain, you may need a chain punch to remove the bad link and then a replacement master link to reassemble the chain. I also carry a multi-tool with the correct hex keys for my bike. Now this is a must, and here's something you may not think about, a small pair of tweezers. I've used them to pull out tiny nails, pieces of wire, and thorns from my tire. I also carry a few pair of nitrate gloves because changing a tire or fixing a flat can turn your hands black in about 30 seconds. And I don't know about you, but I don't particularly enjoy riding the next 20 miles looking like I've been repairing a transmission. Now here's one more thing I carry. 3 $5 bills. That's right, $15 in cash. And I actually used that money to buy an inner tube from a friendly cyclist who stopped to help me. Sometimes the best tool in your repair kit is another biker. Install the fresh tube, reseat the tire by hand if you can, and inflate it. CO2 cartridges are fast, about 30 seconds to full pressure. If you carry a pump, expect a bit more elbow grease. Practice this at home before you start sweating at the side of the road. Trust me on that. Don't try to fix a flat on the road without a training session at home. Now, getting the tire off can be a 30-minute wrestling match. You need strong hands to get the job done. Now, I've learned that if you don't break both sides of the tire from the rim, it's easier to get the tire back on the rim. This actually gives you just a little bit more room to lever the tire on and off. Another trick I've learned is to take a small vial of dish soap to lather up the last bit of tire being taken off or put on. It takes some practice though. Number 2, the dropped or broken chain. This one always seems to happen mid-climb when your legs are already screaming louder than disc brakes on a downhill. Now, if the chain simply drops off the ring, you simply may be able to guide it back by hand. It's a little messy, but it works. Your fingers will look like you've been changing oil, but manageable. However, if the chain actually breaks, a link snapped, that's where your chain tool becomes your best friend. A master link in your kit means you can reconnect the chain in about 5 minutes. Without one, hey, you're walking. Don't forget a chain punch to take out the old broken link. You have to remove the bad link before adding a new one. Number 3, a bent derailleur hanger. Now, this one kind of sneaks up on people who never dealt with it before. You pick up your bike off the ground or maybe brush against the curb and suddenly you're shifting, feels like it's trying to communicate through Morse code. What happened is that the small aluminum bracket, the derailleur hanger that connects your rear derailleur to the frame got slightly bent. The fix in the field is a gentle manual straightening. You can eyeball it by looking from behind the bike. Be careful here though. The hanger is intentionally designed to bend rather than break the derailleur. Now, a rough field adjustment will usually get you home, but don't force it. Number 4, brake adjustment. Cable stretch, pads wear. Sometimes a wheel goes slightly out of true and starts rubbing. Most mid-ride brake issues come down to cable tension. Too loose, and your lever hits the bar before the brake engages. A simple barrel adjuster, turned clockwise to tighten, can usually solve the problem without any other tools. Now, for rubbing pads on a rim brake, a slight barrel adjustment or loosening the caliper bolt can recenter it, usually gets the job done. Disc brakes are a little bit trickier in the field and less commonly adjustable roadside, but a loose pad or say a squeal can sometimes be resolved by gently squeezing the brake to reset the pads. Number 5, a broken spoke. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you can fix a broken spoke on the road. You generally can't, not properly. But what you can do is keep riding. A single broken spoke will throw your wheel out of true. And if it's rubbing against your brake pad or frame, that could stop you cold. The field fix. Use the broken spoke itself. Wrap it around an adjacent spoke to just get it out of the way. Then use your barrel adjuster to open the brake caliper slightly, giving the wobbly wheel room to keep spinning. It won't be pretty, but it'll get you home. Number 6, loose bolts and components. Now, this is the one that overlooked most often. And let me say that again. This is the one that's most overlooked. A saddle that starts to tilt, handlebars that rotate forward, a stem bolt that's working itself loose. All of these happen gradually. and they're all solved with just a few turns of the right hex key. That multi-tool in your toolkit should be cover every bolt on your bike, and you need to check and make sure it does. Check your contact points at the start of every ride. A loose saddle at a 30 mile is a misery nobody volunteers for. I've learned that the hard way. My sit bones still have opinions about that. Now look, the point of all this isn't to turn you into a mechanic. It's to make sure that when the road throws you something, and it will, you're not stranded. 100 miles a week means the odds aren't always in your favor, but preparation is. A $10 spare tube and 15 minutes of practice at home are worth more than any high-end component you can bolt onto your bike. I also carry a self-adhesive inner tube patch as a backup for fixing a puncture. Now, I usually take my bike into the shop at the beginning of every season to have it tuned up, so I'm ready to roll when winter is over. Lastly, I have found that other riders can be lifesavers. I've stopped more than a few riders to assist with bike repairs. Now, don't be reluctant to ask for help. Most bike riders are glad to assist you when you need it. Take care of your bike, and it will take care of you. This is Charlie, and I'll see you on the road.